she say, "Sir, can I use the shooting range?" They laughed. They mocked what they didn't know. She was carrying her father's legacy and the soul of a warrior who never missed. Her name is Imani, daughter of Master Sergeant Elijah Banks, a Navy SEAL sniper who was killed in action before receiving his Medal of Honor. Imani grew up studying his every move, reading his manuals, watching his old training footage, learning how he calculated wind drift in his head. She practiced with handmade slingshots, then air rifles, then real weapons under her uncle's care quietly, becoming better than anyone ever imagined. But no one ever gave her a shot until today. Imani stepped forward with quiet confidence, her small boots crunching gravel beneath her. The soldiers leaned against the railing, arms folded, amused smirks dancing on their faces. Some were recording on their phones, eager to capture what they thought would be a funny moment. A little girl trying to fire a sniper rifle nearly as long as she was tall. She didn't flinch. Her fingers grazed the barrel of the M2010 enhanced sniper rifle, the same model her father once carried through sandstorms and jungle fog. It felt cold, distant, like the world around her. The colonel leaned toward his sergeant and whispered. She fall back from the recoil. She cried, "Just wait." Imani heard it. She just didn't care. Greater than one bullet, one target. "If I miss, I walk away," she repeated, her voice calm, almost serene. The colonel sighed and waved dismissively. Greater than fine. Let her humiliate herself. The rangemaster, unsure but following orders, knelt beside her and gave a rundown of the controls. She cut him off softly. "Greater than, I know how it works." He raised an eyebrow but didn't press. She laid down on the mat, her elbows steadying her on the concrete. Her movements weren't clumsy like a child playing pretend, they were deliberate. Honed. She adjusted the bipod, checked wind direction by lifting a pinch of dust, tilted the scope slightly, didn't say a word. The wind was strong and stubborn, gusting crosswise at 12 miles per hour. The kind of wind that threw off trained SEAL snipers. And there she was, barely 9 years old, scanning the target 1,200 meters away, hidden behind terrain and shimmer. The soldiers chuckled louder now, nudging one another. Greater than, she can't even see that far. She doesn't even weigh more than the rifle. But she wasn't listening to them. She was listening to him, in her mind. She heard her father's steady voice again. Greater than, it's not about seeing the target, it's about feeling it. She remembered watching him train, even when he thought she wasn't looking, how he whispered numbers under his breath, counted seconds between gusts, squinted at the sun. Imani closed her eyes. Inhaled, held her breath. Time slowed down. The air grew thick, as if the entire world waited for her finger to move. Then she exhaled, a slow, deep breath that pushed away fear, doubt, noise, and left only purpose. She pressed the trigger. Boom! The rifle roared. The recoil kicked, but she didn't flinch. The scope snapped upward, but her gaze stayed still. Everyone held their breath. It took nearly 2 full seconds for the bullet to reach the target. The screen at the far end of the range lit up. The range officer blinked, then looked again. Dead center, a perfect bullseye. The silence was instant and deafening. No one laughed, no one clapped, no one clapped, no one moved. Imani sat up, dusted off her pants, and stood. The colonel was frozen, his smirk now replaced with stunned disbelief. He walked slowly toward the monitor, checking the data. Distance 1,203 meters. Wind, cross, strike pattern, direct center, 0 deviation. This can't be right. The range officer confirmed. She hit it, sir. Dead center. Imani looked up at the colonel. Greater than, that was my father's shot. I just pulled the trigger. He opened his mouth to respond, but nothing came out. She walked off the mat, handed the rifle back, and turned to leave. Greater than, wait, the colonel said finally, his voice hoarse. What's your name? She turned, the sun catching her eyes. Imani Banks, daughter of Master Sergeant Elijah Banks. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The colonel took off his cap slowly, his jaw clenched with a mixture of shame and awe. He had served with Elijah Banks, knew him, respected him, but never knew his daughter still carried the fire he once bore. And now, she had just done the impossible. The soldiers who had laughed now stood straight. A few lowered their heads. One of them whispered, "Greater than, she didn't come here to impress us. She came here to finish something." Emotional close, Imani walked back down the gravel path toward the main gate. The echoes of her single shot still ringing in every man's soul. Somewhere her father was smiling, and the shooting range, once a place of mockery, would forever carry a new legend. The day a little black girl shattered 5 Navy SEAL records. With just 1 bullet. They think it's a fluke. They set up 3 more targets, moving, tilted, and in low light. She hits every single one within 12 minutes. She breaks 5 Navy SEAL shooting records, including one that stood for 22 years. The colonel stares, jaw clenched. He takes off his cap, walks over, kneels down, and whispers, "Greater than, who are you?" She looks him in the eye. "I'm Elijah Banks' daughter, and I just finished what he started." The news traveled faster than bullets. By evening, the entire base knew about the little girl who broke SEAL records with a single shot. Officers, veterans, and even retired snipers returned just to ask one question: who trained her? The answer humbled them all: Master Sergeant Elijah Banks, a man once overlooked, now reborn through his daughter's precision. The base commander, a stern man with 30 years of service, arrived in full uniform. His voice cracked as he addressed the gathered troops. Greater than we failed to honor Elijah Banks while he was alive. But today, his legacy returned, through hands smaller than any of ours, but steadier than most. He bent down, clipped a polished junior marksmanship medal on Imani's chest, and whispered, "Greater than you reminded us what honor really means." Then came the moment that broke even the hardest soldiers. A flag was folded. A photo of Elijah Banks was placed on a podium. A bugler played a slow, mournful rendition of Taps. Imani, standing proudly in front of the entire base, raised her small hand to her forehead. Greater than this time, it wasn't the military saluting him. It was his daughter, and no one in that crowd would ever forget the day a child gave a fallen soldier the tribute he was denied. Don't ever underestimate the heart of a child, especially one carrying a legacy like Cher. And remember, talent has no age, and respect has no color. What would you have done if you were the colonel that day? Would you have given her a chance or laughed like everyone else?